Knicks kicking off the first of a 5-game West Coast gauntlet, going into LA, into the Crypto.com arena against the LA Lakers. And this Knicks team, I don't know if it was the trade rumors that got to them or what, but this Knicks team came out guns blazing in the first half, 71 first half points, Julius and RJ cooking, running and gunning, high octane offense. This team looked the best they've looked since opening night. But it was always gonna be a tale of two halves. You wanted to see how this team was gonna respond in the second half, and they absolutely collapsed. They had Malik Monk out there looking like Ray Allen, another 27 in the fourth, but they would end up coming back. Where we were tied in overtime on an RJ Barrett three-pointer. Shout out to Broadway Barrett, career high. But in OT, man, we just weren't crisp. A lot of mental blunders, a lot of mental errors, and the Lakers just, as Bill Belichick says, they made more plays than we did. As I said, it was a team full of energy, a team full of life in this first half. Came out smoking. First 3 possessions was active hands, defense leading the offense, high speed pace, and it looked great. But, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this was too good. Because they shot 50% from the field. They scored 71 points in the first half. Electric from 3. I said, obviously, they can't maintain it. They can't maintain any of it. The pace, the shooting, and obviously the Lakers are going to adjust. So how are we going to adjust to their adjustments? Completely flamed out. You had Malik Monk cooking. The Lakers started switching more on their defensive coverages. Knicks slowed the ball down. Ball movement stuck. Wasn't fluid. You talk about Tibbs' adjustments. You damn near playing the starters once again the entire third. Kemba dragging the leg, getting flamed out there on both ends, making terrible decisions. Shell of himself. Fourth quarter things slowed down. But nevertheless, as I said, there's very few teams worse than the New York Knicks of free throw shooting, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers. This is why this was a game that, of this 5-game West Coast trip, I thought we could win. Lakers struggling, same record as the Knicks damn near, and match up very evenly. And, Lakers brought us back in there. Give credit to RJ. Splashes a 3 to get it into OT, man. But just couldn't execute down the stretch, man.
I'll start from a player standpoint with Julius in terms of this is what you wanted to see starting a game. It's not always about the stats, but, the energy, the compete level, being active. There was a lot of sequences there you saw early where he got the ball. He barely had a second with it and was just moving
quick.
And then after the pass, he goes to his spot, but he sprints to his spot. He doesn't jog to his spot. That's the type of basketball you like to see. RJ had a night tonight. RJ had a night. This is the first time, before he hit that shot, at halftime, I was saying to myself, this is the first game that LeBron has played against the Knicks since January of 2020.
Yeah.
So that means RJ has missed a lot of those experiences going against an all-time great.
Right.
At such a young age. Tonight was one of those rare times he was on the floor with LeBron James. And for him to have this type of game, I think it's going to be essential to his confidence, to his development. You saw they had a moment there at the end of the game where LeBron seemed to give him a few pointers. They both nodded their head, and it looks like, RJ liked what he heard from LeBron. I'm sure LeBron gave him a lot of respect.
It's a lot of respect
to me,
shown.
At the end of the day, the story of this night moving forward long-term is RJ. He had 3 shots in the third quarter. Forget the minutes. This is what I'm talking about with strategy. He had 3 shots in the third quarter. And to me, coaching was a big, big miss in the third quarter because they made a huge run and we made 0 moves, 0 counters. You knew the Lakers were going to respond.
Right.
I have now elevated Tibbs as the number 1 problem over Randall. And the thing I want to talk about is Tibbs' Coach of the Year last year. Here's why I believe, there's 2 reasons why I believe it was a fluke. The first one was he had players playing out of their mind because of an empty gym, especially Julius Randle, who made him kind of look good But at the end of the day, the reality is the gym was empty. They had no pressure. They played above their head. The second thing, and most important, is his defensive schemes looked great last year. But in reality, his drop coverage gave up so many open threes. Yeah. The only difference is last year, the opponent shot 32% against open threes. Right. This year, they're shooting over 41% from open threes. Mm-hmm. So, and then if you look at today's coaching, Julius Randle plays good in the first half, but he's playing 100% off of RJ. Mm-hmm. RJ's the number one guy. He's playing as the number two, and he plays entirely better. Now, RJ's cooking. It's 17 in the first. And with 3 minutes left in the game, Tibbs pulls him out and puts him on the bench when he almost never does that. Mm-hmm. So clearly he's not paying attention. Either he's not paying attention, this guy's got the hot hand. Why are you pulling him out when you play him in the entire first all of the time? Mm-hmm. Then the third quarter comes, and Tibbs allows freaking Julius Randle, who's playing literally iso ball the entire time. You guys mentioned it. Barrett only shoots 3 shots in the third quarter. No adjustments to say, hey, let me get – this guy is having a career night. Let me find a way to get this guy the ball. And then in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, here's what really pissed me off. 4 minutes left, Monk hits a huge 3. Noel's still in the game at this point. Tibbs calls a timeout. Then at the end of the timeout, he puts Noel back in the game.
Same guys.
Then 10 seconds later, he brings in Mitch. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, like, if you knew you were going to bring in Mitch, it clearly shows that he's not really thinking. Why didn't you bring in Mitch at the time of the timeout? So Tibbs' rotations, his decision-making has been trash. I think he got lucky last year, and we would have been just as bad if people were hitting 41% of those open threes. Randall's playing like trash, but I think Tibbs is probably just overplaying him, not adjusting. Versus playing like trash. He played 30 minutes. Grimes played 14. Maybe I know Quick had a slow start, but maybe trust him a little bit. Put him back in for a couple minutes to see can he get it going because he's a street guy. So I'm 100% convinced that last year was lucky. Old school defensive scheme with the open three-pointers in 2022 is probably not the right thing. The key word is adjustments. Your boy Tibbs doesn't believe in it. RJ is becoming our number one. Tibbs doesn't see it.
But I'm going to talk about 7 things wrong with this team right here. Mm-hmm. The first thing is quickly, you had a bad game. I don't know what you was thinking about. You thinking about playing the drums again? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Kimber, I don't know what's wrong with you. Your knee pads is too loose. You know what I'm saying? It keeps sliding down. Put your elbow sleeves on or something. You know what I'm saying? Burks, I don't know. Somebody broke in your crib. You worried about what's going on somewhere else. You ain't thinking about what's going on in the court. I don't know what's happening with you. Grimes, I ain't going to put too much blame on you because that's the first time you ever seen them staple lights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they ain't no different from the garden light. I don't understand what Tom is doing. You scared to go small ball. LeBron was playing the 5. What you doing with 2 bigs out there for? Same thing you did against Memphis. You know, the biggest man they had was Slow-Mo. You still out there with them bigs. You got a problem with making the proper adjustments, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pointing a lot of these fingers at you, you know what I'm saying? The third quarter, what you was watching, a DVD, nobody watch DVDs no more. What you was looking at on that sideline, I don't understand what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? But you causing me to have issues and problems about this team, you know what I'm saying? And I was not calling back up here no more until we hit the trade deadline because I don't know which direction we going. I don't know if we going young. I don't know if you're trying to get some more vets to come in here, you know what I'm saying, to do something different, you know what I'm saying, than what we're doing. But I don't want no vets. I don't want nobody with 5 years experience. I want leadership. Bring me some leaders if you're going to bring somebody over here. If you ain't bringing me no leaders, then keep building with the young squad, man. Please, man.